Welcome everybody to Big J's World. My name is Big J. Today I have a author. Her name is Jen. So Jen, if you want to tell a little bit about yourself, what book you have out, how long have you been writing for?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, I am Jen Xant. I just started writing this last year. I never thought I was going to be a writer. I was writing corporate emails for about 20 years. And I ended up, through book talk and through TikTok, meeting a lot of the indie author community. I didn't know what an indie author was, so they were explaining the difference to me between that and traditional publishing. And I got this wild hair to say, maybe I could write a book. And so I came up with this idea of what if perimenopause wasn't a hormone thing, but what if it was a demon that inhabited your body and you fought with him all day long, and it was very snarky. And yeah, so that's where the Adventures of Peri and Mawg came from. The big giant green foot, that is Peri, the perimenopause demon. He sounds like Joe Pesci. Uh, and he lives in my FMC's big toe, which is very odd, I know.
Mhm.
But his reason for living there is, he says the rest of her body's going to hurt for the next 10 years, and he doesn't want to deal with that. So that's the only place he's kind of safe to hang out while they're going through this. So,
All right.
yeah, yeah,
That's really different. Wow.
yeah.
All right. Really out of the box. So, what made you write about perimenopause?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I'm mid 40s. It hit me a couple years ago, and I didn't realize, like, we always heard growing up from, your moms and your aunts or whatever, like, you're going to have a hot flash and, you might have a mood swing. And like, okay. But there's a lot they left out. They didn't tell us. Like, you feel like a whole different person. It's wild. So yeah, I got this idea that, like, well, first of all, I posted a video on TikTok, because I was reading a lot of the fantasy romance stories, so like ACOTAR and Fourth Wing, and that's how I got back into reading again. But I posed a question asking, are there any FMCs that aren't 20 years old and the size of my pen? And that video took off unexpectedly. And there were a lot of people asking, like, yeah, we want to see that too. So, well, hell, why don't I write one? So I wrote one, and she's this, plus size 45-year-old woman, and
Mhm.
had a lot of low self-esteem throughout most of her life, like a lot of women do. And so when she meets Peri the demon, he really kind of upends her life, and as perimenopause does, and takes her on these adventures where, like, they end up in a sex club. She's taken a tour of this place and seeing all of these things that she's never seen before. And then there's more adventure, outside of it after that. But there's all the
Mhm.
spice and all the fun things in there. But it's really this woman battling herself and her self-esteem and learning that she has worth, and she's still sexy. She's in her 40s. She's sexy. So yeah.
All right. So did you? It's interesting. I've heard of menopause, but not like perimenopause.
Mhm.
See, I'm learning more.
Yeah. So, okay. Things will happen. Like, I
Mhm.
think I packed on probably 50 pounds as that started. I'm starting to grow a beard. I have 3 chin hairs now, so I'm really working on my beard, and I'll be growing that out. Uh, your body starts hurting, and, like, things that you've never dealt with before all of a sudden are things you're dealing with, and it
Right.
you feel like something's wrong with you, and you go to the doctor and they're checking your thyroid and they're doing all these things, and there's nothing technically wrong with you. It's just your body's changing and your estrogen's saying goodbye. And you're like,
Right.
okay, and we get mouthier and more opinionated. Well, I shouldn't say more opinionated. We're more likely to speak the opinions that maybe we've been holding back a little bit. That
Mhm.
filter goes away. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It's a fun time in your life, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's good times. Yeah.
So you started writing this book in January. How long did it take you to publish the book?
Yeah. So I actually started writing it last May of 2025.
Okay.
And it came out January 9th of
Oh,
this year. So it was about 6 months, 7 months. The writing itself took me, that wasn't too long. It was about 3 months.
mhm.
Um, and self-publishing, I didn't know anything. So I had all of these indie author friends who were, kind of guiding me through this process. And I didn't realize I wrote the first draft and I was so excited. 'Cause I'm like, that's it. I did great. Not knowing that editing was coming. And oh dear God, you know, going back through and looking at your own words and feeling like, who wrote that? That's terrible. Who that came out of you? So that was another couple of months of fixing things. And then comes the publishing side where like, what the
Mhm.
hell am I doing? How do I publish a book? And so learning, the process for all of that, it's wild. It's wild in the indie world. You're just out there fumbling because there's no manual. There's no manual to tell you like, this is how you do this. You just gotta
Mhm.
figure it out and hope it works. So
Right.
yeah.
All right. So about that whole process, which part, well, some people say I love editing. I love going through stuff and, changing things. How was editing for you? Did you really like it? Did you hate it? Did you?
It was challenging, but I found by the end of it, I did love it. Um, it was challenging because when I wrote the first draft, I laid out the basic framework.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm not really big on attention to detail or a lot of details. So it
Right.
was very bare bones. And my alpha readers went through it and said, you're really not giving us her internal thoughts or her personality.
Mhm.
So when I went back through editing, I had to really dig into what is this woman thinking, and try and envision like if she would walk into there's a setting where they're in. It's called the church. It's the sex club. Um,
Mhm.
but trying to describe that room, like I I don't know, like so I'd have to sit and just close my eyes and try and envision like if I was standing in this room, what would this room look like? And those are things that I wouldn't normally think about, but you have to give that, you got to give it to a reader so they can envision it. So
Right.
it was challenging. It was, but I like it. I like going back through things I wrote and finding a way to make them better. Like
Right.
looking at it and saying, is that the best way I could have said that? Is there a better way I could have said that? That part's really fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so when you were writing this book, did you put like some of your personal things in there? If
Yeah.
so, like you mentioned a few, but not like actually spoiling the book so people could actually go and pick it up and read your book and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So there were quite a few things from real life that got interjected. One was, I mean, my FMC is probably about 50% me. So there's a lot of me in her. There's three or four of the characters in there that I loosely based off of some of my friends on TikTok.
Right.
Um, infusing their personalities in, and that was fun. They got a hoot out of that. And then also, I mean, just the subject matter itself, like she's going to this, she's going to explore this world of kink, and that was something that a few years back, I stepped into that world for about 2 or 3 years and got to see all these different things and like
Mhm.
people living different kinds of lives, which was very eye opening for me. And so that was part of when I wrote it. I really wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that if you're someone who's not been in that world, and you probably sit out on the outside of it and go, that looks, a little scary or a little weird. I wanted
Mhm.
to approach her going through this in a way that the FMC was not directly involved. She's viewing these things so that you as the reader can kind of have that perspective too. Like it's safe. It's okay. You're just seeing things and observing them. So, um, yeah, yeah, I put a lot of that in there too. And then I have friends that are still in, that community. So I had them beta read it and make sure that I wasn't misrepresenting, because that's the last thing I want to
Right.
do. But yeah, there's a lot in there.
I bet writing about those type of kinks was pretty fun, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, it is, and I would say like it was really fun, but it was also challenging to. I really wanted to make sure like because like there's a lot of representation of dom and sub relationships,
right.
which is that's not something that I was involved with in that community. So I had to go reach
Mhm.
out to people who know that better and say, did I say this right? Is this phrasing right? Is this really what would happen? Um, so yeah, it was challenging in that respect, but I mean, it's fun too.
Right.
It's fun. Everybody likes things that are a little spicy and a little a little naughty. So
Right. So has there been like some scenes that were like difficult to write? Not as like, all right, I gotta make sure that things are correct, but more like I gotta really get through this chapter. It's just like I don't want to write it, but I have to like make sure that chapter's in to make it sort of cohesive.
yeah, there were a couple of transition chapters that trying to get the characters from one place to another. That's one of my biggest challenges is that transition phase because I want the plot to keep moving. I'm really big on. You're not going to find me describing the blade of grass for
Mhm.
3 paragraphs or whatever. Like that's not my style. I want that plot moving and I want to keep your interest in it. So some of those transitions, when I first wrote them, I went back and read them in editing, and I'm like, I'm bored. So if I'm bored, I know you're going to be bored. And I had to figure out how to, keep that moving and keep it entertaining, which is where a lot of Peri, the demon, came in
Mhm.
because of his commentary and his snark. He kind of helps a lot of those type of situations. So, yeah.
All right. So Peri is the demon that lives in her toe.
Yep.
That's so funny. So the what's the name of the main female character? What is her name?
Her name is Mawg. So
Mog.
Mawg. Yep.
Mog, that's right. Uh, describe her. You said she's a 40-ish-year-old woman going through perimenopause, but what
Yeah.
describe her as the character? Like, what is her like? What are people expecting from her?
Yeah. So when we first meet her, she is, I guess the best definition would be dowdy. You know, she has no fashion sense. She's kind of given up on herself. She's given up on relationships and men and just doing projects and, living her routine in her life. And we watch her kind of go back through some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like traumatic situations from past relationships that she's had where she hasn't felt like she was good enough. Um, so she's really trying to well, Peri's really trying to reframe her brain about herself. Um,
Mhm.
because she's just always been safe. She hides things. She doesn't want to put herself out there for fear that people will be, mean. And she doesn't want to do that. So he's pushing her to her limits and past them to do things where she's going to experience these things and realize that not everyone is mean, and it's okay. Even if they are, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, this is your life and you get to live it how you want to live it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, watching her go through that challenge, it was challenging because like I said, I put a lot of myself in her. So there would be scenes
Hmm.
where I would have her respond to something, and then I would realize, oh, I'm having her respond the way I would have responded, you know, years ago, like that. And it made me mad. Like, that's not how I want her to respond. And so I'd have to go back and fix it. But it's like you're going through therapy, It's
Hmm.
like, oh, that's what I did. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
I mean,
So she's
and
great.
I've heard from like different authors, and even when I had book talkers on here saying that reading and writing is like really therapeutic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very much so. I think reading is because you get to see different perspectives from just different people and characters and things maybe you've never thought of before.
Hmm.
Writing, to me, I didn't expect that. I expected I was going to sit down and write, just this funny story. And as I got, probably halfway through it, there were nights where like I would catch myself, as she's going through stuff, I'm sobbing because I'm like, oh my God, like you don't realize how much of yourself is coming out on the page. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's very therapeutic.
Wow. So
Yeah,
would you say that it helped you deal with the certain situations that you had in the past while writing it out?
I think so. I mean, I think it helped me kind of come to terms with like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it happened. It was what it was, but it doesn't have to be like that. So
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So, is this book a standalone, or are you planning to write a sequel to this whole adventure?
I want this to be, well, I'll say this. It started off going to be a standalone. It has what I call quote unquote, it's got a happy-ish ending. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then I didn't want it to be done. I felt like they had a lot more adventures to go on. So I threw in an epilogue with a real big twist. And it's it's more of a preview of what's to come for book two. So book two it's in progress. I've got some other things that are going on right now that I've kind of had to put it to the side for a minute. But yeah, there will be two, and I'm hoping there will be three. So
I mean, let's see how far you could go with this.
I mean, this toe can go anywhere. Okay.
So, obviously, you had book talkers helping you write the book and navigating you through like the whole editing process and all that stuff. Was there any books or any like authors that inspired you to actually write?
Yeah, well, as far as the inspiration to write, it was kind of an author that,
Yeah.
okay, I'll tell the story. So at one time last year, I was doing reviews of, I found out Fabio had written books because I was reviewing like the old, what do they call
Hold on.
them?
Fabio, the guy, the cover guy, wrote
Yeah,
a book.
eight of them. He wrote eight of them.
All
So
right.
I found it on the Zon, got it, and I was going to read that on lives, like with people, because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Well, as I see the back of the story, I'm like, oh, I can't read that on live because it was not. He like rescues a young girl, raises her on an island, and then she turns around to be the love interest, and I'm like, oh, there's an ick factor there. So
Mhm.
instead, we started. I was reading it, and I would make videos about it, and it was so bad. It was so bad. But I literally saw that and said, I can't do any worse than that. So I might as well go, try. So that was the inspiration for writing. But as far as
Yeah.
like my style, I love I love irreverent humor.
Mhm.
Christopher Moore is an author that he wrote like the Lust Lizard of Melancholy Cove, Lamb. He's got a whole set of books that it's all very irreverent comedy, and I love his writing style. So him, and then Janet Ivanovich she's a romance writer that also has kind of a comedic style to her
Mhm.
writing. So those comedic styles, I really gravitate toward because I throw a lot of comedy into mine too. So yeah.
Good. I'm just still stuck on 5 Year wrote a book. I'm like,
Listen, Jay.
all right, all
I'll
right. So
I'll send you one of the videos of some of the quotes from it because it was wild.
all right. First and foremost, let's just say that we love Fabio for his cover
Me
work,
too.
his
Me
cover,
too.
yeah. But
Yes.
if you had to like rate his book from 1 to 5 stars, where would it land?
Oh. Mm,
You're
I,
probably
I
being generous at that.
I mean, yeah. It's not very high.
No.
We're gonna go with a couple. Well, here's the thing. I feel bad because I think from what I understand, he had like a ghost writer, like someone helping him with the writing part, which I get. Like, he's
Right.
probably not a natural writer, so he's having someone help him. Um, I just wonder about that poor woman. Like, was she in pain the whole time she was working with him? Anyway, we love you, Fabio. You're amazing. Yeah, two. We'll give it a two.
A
We'll give it a
two.
two. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
stick what you're good at.
Yeah,
Put it that.
exactly. Exactly.
I mean, you had Michael Jordan as a great basketball player, but not a great baseball player. So that's not.
Yeah. No, it's sad. Okay, so in school, we had to take a trip to Chicago. And I remember we were so excited because we got tickets to a Bulls game. It was the year he was playing baseball. I'm so mad. Like, really?
I mean, did he get really? He got paid millions of dollars. He could go
Oh,
play wherever he wants to play.
yeah. Yeah. He can do whatever he wants. Yeah. I wish I'd gotten to see him, live. That would be amazing. But yeah, that man was phenomenal.
So the cover art, did you design that?
Yep.
Which
That's all
is
me.
funny. Funny. If you want to show the book again, go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh, which is
See if we can put it
hilarious.
out there. Yeah. Oh, it wants to get my face. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Yep. Yeah.
yep, that is all me in Photoshop. So Perry was a just a big block of green, and then
Yeah.
I went through and sculpted him out in Photoshop.
I mean, it's you look at it and it's like it really pops because it's a vibrant green and a vibrant was it purple or like a
Yeah, like
neon? Yeah,
purplish, pinkish. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
it'll really pop out if I'm gonna like go to wherever the book is sold, Barnes and Nobles or Amazon or whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this book out. Let's see where it goes.
that makes me happy, Jay.
Um, has it been like different iterations of the cover, or did you just really stick to that?
So originally the background on it was all black.
Mhm.
And then I ended up right about a month or two before we were getting ready to release. We changed up the background. One of my friends was helping me out, Gina Perillo, just to make it pop, those colors pop a little bit more on there. But yeah, that cover's it's been interesting because it's a rom-com, so it's a paranormal rom-com, but I'm putting it up against romance. I specifically wanted him on there because I wanted the calm part of it to come through. Plus,
Right.
like I like very bold things.
Hmm.
Like Dungeon Crawler Carl, the cover of that, love that style. So I wanted something that was just, kind of bold and wild. But when you're going up against romance with a green foot, it people look at you weird. And they look at the book weird, and
Hmm.
it it kind of caused me some challenges. So
Hmm.
what I had to do was on TikTok, I started interacting. Like I pulled him out and put him into my video and started interacting with him so that people could get used to him and the personality and, see the character and not be so weirded out about it, like, why is there this foot on here? And now he's got his own page on TikTok. So it's a
Really?
whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. Perimenopause has his own page. So
You gotta send that to me. I have to
I
check it
will.
out. Send that to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Very
yeah,
man of pause.
yep.
Okay.
Perimenopause. Oh God, yeah. Well, and here's the thing, like
Mhm.
so he sounds like Joe Pesci, or he's supposed to sound like Joe Pesci or Danny DeVito. It's kind of an argument in the book. Um, when I started doing this, everyone told me to read the book aloud because they said you'll hear when you're reading your banter, you'll hear if it's clunky or weird. I'm like, okay. So I started reading it aloud, but he's got a Joe Pesci accent. And so I'm faking a Joe Pesci accent and I ended up doing videos and stuff with it. And then he's got his page now, and I still do that. It's a horrible accent. I have a horrible Joe Pesci accent, but that is what his accent is now.
Right. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So let me just segue into audiobooks. I don't know if you have one out or thinking about making one, but gotta have Joe Pesci if he's gonna
Oh
someone to do with Joe Pesci.
God, I want to do that audiobook so bad. It literally just going to be, getting the funding and stuff together for it, but
Right.
I didn't think through when I made the book. My MMC is Irish. My foot is New Yorker. And then, I've got like 3 or 4 different female styles too. So I kind of set myself up a little challenging when it comes to audio because I'm going to need
Mhm.
probably multiple people. But yeah, eventually this book needs to be in audio. It's meant to be heard just because of all
Mhm.
the goofy, the, the goofy accents and the banter and all of that. So someday,
Right.
yeah.
All right. So as you see, have you of course you've seen like many books have being made to movies and TV shows, and that's more prominent than before. Um, if you could have it created into a TV show or a movie, would it be alive or animated? If it's live, then who would be like the characters?
I mean, that's challenging. I mean, I think it'd have to be live.
Mhm.
Um, Melissa McCarthy would be. She's
Okay.
Mawg in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. Um, the MMC Declan. I don't know. I've been struggling with this one because
Yeah.
well, I want the right vibe to come across for him. So we got to get
Right.
a good Irish vibe. But I mean, yeah, you gotta do Pesci on the toe, right?
Oh Lord,
Have
I
to.
could just hear him now.
Yeah, yeah, have to. I want like my cousin Vinny Pesci. That's what I hear in my head.
Valid. That is totally valid.
Yeah,
I've seen bits and parts of that, and everybody's been telling me you have to watch the whole movie.
yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's
I
amazing.
excuse me. I have to sit down and watch the movie because the parts I've seen were hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing is that is probably one of my I don't know if I put it top 5, but it's right up there as far as like all time movies. Yeah, very quotable.
Uh, if not Joe Pesci, who else would be Perry Menopause? Perry the
Like
Menopause.
a from like a TV perspective.
Yeah,
I mean, got to go DeVito. I think.
DeVito.
Yeah, yeah. There are 2 vibes between Pesci and DeVito. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
I could see that too. I
yeah,
mean, they're both wild characters by
yeah,
themselves.
yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because they call it actually Ash is the one.
Mhm.
She was one of my beta readers, and as she went through and reviewed it, she said, you need to throw in Toe Pesci and Danny DeVito. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. So that's in there where they're arguing back and forth, and he's all pissed off. He's like, I'm 1,000 years old. They sound like me. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
I gotta look up those videos and watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, so you wrote the book. The book's already out, purchase. I'm guessing Amazon. Is it in Barnes and Nobles or where they could find a book?
Yeah, so it's and anywhere that you can buy books online. It's physically only in the Inkbound bookshop over in Ireland, which I love.
You are the second person who told me that. Ash is gonna get her book over there too.
Mm-hmm. If you don't know much about the Inkbound Society, it's a phenomenal. So it was started by a woman in Ireland named Amanda, and her and I think a couple of her friends, but they just wanted to just have a way to help indie authors. And so it has grown and grown and grown and grown into this. It's becoming this massive thing for the indie world. Like, you want to be involved with the Inkbound Society. I mean, they've got things now for, trying to bring in, kids and readers for, kid writers. They've got programs for that. They've got, they're working on, some educational stuff for indie people. Like, here are some ways to help you to go through this process. And like, it's just a fantastic organization. So, super excited to be a part of it. But the Inkbound bookshop in Ireland only carries indie books. So I'm very excited to have the big green foot over in Ireland.
Drink a Guinness, read about a big green foot.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
So when you're not writing or when not working or writing, obviously you're an avid reader. So what is like your ideal like comfort spot when you're gonna read a book? What do you need? What do you like? Lay in bed and read? Do you have like a little comfy chair? Do you just sit on the couch, or what's the whole vibe?
Good question. Ideally, the weather's going to cooperate, and I'll be out on the deck, like hanging out with my coffee, comfy chair, getting all set up, and having everything there around me, so I don't have to get up and move, so I can be a reading sloth. I want to be a reading sloth, but it's been challenging. Because I've been doing the book. I'm working on a novella too. Same part of that project that Ash talked about that she's in with Black Diadem. Yeah. So that's coming out October 31st, and I'm on a crunch time with that. But I'm also I branched into a whole new adventure with writing spicy scripts for audio erotica for VAs. So when you hear people on like the Quinn app or Magic Wave or all of those, I'm writing scripts for that now too. So and trying to do audio engineering as well. So
less reading, more audio engineering, more writing scripts.
Yeah.
So what would be like when you do have a chance, what would be a comfort read for you?
Oh, I mean, God, I've got anything that would be spicy and lighthearted and fun. That's where I would go. Like, I've got or dark romance too. I've got Butcher and Blackbird sitting over on it's been sitting on my shelf for months and I haven't read it. I've got a ton of books from my indie author friends that I picked up and I haven't read, and I just don't have time. But I know Evan Pickering is an indie author. He has a book. It's called Fairy Court Dragon Sex Magic. And it is a parody of all the romantasy books. So that I have it sitting there staring at me. I want to go read this because the
Yeah.
humor I think is going to be top notch, but just haven't had time. So that's on my list.
Fairy Court. Say that again.
Fairy Court Dragon Sex Magic. Um, yeah, it's a whole parody. So like,
Yeah.
his MMC is named, I think it's Prince Dark Eyes Six Pack. Like that's his name.
All right.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. That'll tell you a lot about it. So
All right. Okay. I
yeah.
might have to pick that one up.
Yeah, check it out. Because I
Very,
went through and read the prologue and just a little bit of the first chapter when I had a minute.
yeah.
And it's hysterical. It's hysterical. I think you'll like it.
All right. Definitely gonna pick it up.
Nice.
So if I came to you, right,
Mhm.
I wanted to read you read dark romance.
Yeah.
I wanted to start reading dark romance.
Mhm.
Don't even know where to start. I'm reading. I read Haunting. I'm in the like Vicious Last Boy series, the whole Peter Pan retelling.
Okay.
So if I wanted to start, which book would you gravitate towards? Like, here, start with this.
Okay, so I'll tell you how I started, and then I'll tell you what I would suggest you do instead. I started, my very first dark romance was Haunting and Hunting Adeline. And I was not prepared because I grew up on like the 80s Harlequin romance books and that, stuff. So when I went into that, I was like, oh, but it was good. I just wasn't prepared. It was a little darker than what I expected it to be.
Mhm.
I would say if you're someone who's not read a lot of that genre, but you want to get into it, I think Lights Out is a great way to do that. I think that's a good segue into getting into dark romance without it being really heavy, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I actually started with because Erin reads. I've always brought her up. She had such an impact on me as a person who would recommend dark romance or dark fantasy or anything.
Okay.
She'll actually tell you, hey, this is something that you should tread lightly on, but if you want to read it, go ahead.
Okay.
So she's the one that told me to read Lights Out and then Caught Up. And then I went to her and said, give me something more. And she gave me that one, which the first book I had to put down probably like 10 times because it was like a little bit too much with the non-consent and stuff. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The second book, I just went straight through because I already knew what I was going to get into after the first book.
Sure.
Second book, it made me feel two different ways. The first part of the book, and then the second part of the book is definitely two different vibes.
Okay.
Because you get to the first part, and then all of this stuff is happening, and it's really dark and gritty and very impactful. And the second part's more emotionally draining because now, this is happening.
Yeah,
and it's more of like emotional instead of physical in the first part.
Yeah, the hunting Adeline was very, very hard for me. Haunting, the first one, I really liked that. Once it got into, more of the grief and all of that, like it was still well written. It was still good. It was just hard, to read that. So yeah. But that's one thing, like, I wouldn't call it a trigger necessarily. Like, I'll still read things even if they give me the ick. But in any scene like that, it draws that, out of me. But I mean, I don't ever want to tell anyone not to do that either, not to write those things, because it happens, and whether we like it or not, and it needs to be talked about. It's just an awkward, thing to talk about. So yeah.
I mean, it is heavy. I've
Yeah.
told people, I've recommended it to a couple people that
Mhm.
just like saw it on my desk. Like, what is that? I'm like, do you really want to know? So I told them, "You really want to know?" And I explained to them like, "This is A, B, C, D. Just go into it lightly, and I would say
Yeah.
read anything before you start opening the book, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it is pretty heavy."
Yeah.
Some said, "I'm not gonna touch that book." Others just like, "All right, I'm gonna go in head first." I'm like, "All right, good luck, have fun."
Yeah.
I warned you.
Yeah. And it's that, like I said, I'll still read stuff. Like even if it's makes me uncomfortable, I'll still
Mhm.
read it just because I feel like that author, you wanted to make, there's a reason they made that uncomfortable. There's a reason they put that there. Um, and that's part of art, is making people feel things. So if I feel really icky or uncomfortable,
Mhm.
you've probably done a really good job of conveying what you were trying
Exactly.
to convey. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So, one final question before we end this.
Sure.
And it's that question has been, and I've told this to Erin Reeds. I don't know if you follow her, probably do. I'll send you her TikTok.
Who was
Erin
it?
Reeds. Erin
I
Reeds.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So she inspired this question because she showed me her book of haunting. So I
Okay.
asked this to every book talk and every author. Do you or do you not crack your spines?
Do or I do it?
Yeah. Do you
Say that
crack
one
your
more time.
spines? Do
Do I?
you like physically crack your spines, or do you like keep your
Oh,
book pristine or
all right. Now listen. You're gonna out me here. You're gonna out me here, Jay.
Ch-
I'm a gremlin. I'm a book gremlin. So I will read a book if I really really like a book. I'll read it over and over and over and over again.
right?
So yes, I will crack the spine. I will bend the pages. I will make notes. I will because like I want it to feel loved and lived in and read, and that's
It's fine.
yeah. I like that. I'm not an
I mean,
aesthetic person. Like I don't have the
yeah.
pretty bookshelves and the sprayed edges and all that stuff. It
Mhm.
is an absolute hodgepodge of shit, and I love it. I love it that way.
I mean, I get it. It's well loved.
Yeah,
If you ever go on to Erin's live, because she's doing a live tonight because she just reached 5K followers.
nice.
Um, if you ever hop on tonight, ask her to show you her haunting and hunting Adeline books.
Okay.
It is there's like probably 6 or 7 cracks in the spine. The pages are probably bulging out of the book,
Yeah.
but it's one of her favorite books and she has read it. There's
Yeah.
one above it that's like literally falling apart, and I'm surprised how the pages are still in there. And it's a hardcover book. It's one of her favorite books. I don't remember which one it was, but
See,
it
that shows love to me. I don't
it
know.
does.
I
I'm
didn't.
changing my perspective, but if you I'm one of the people like if you like initially get a pristine book, you like immediately crack the spine so you can read it, then I'm like, all
Oh,
right,
no, I won't do that. Now, as I get through, like, if I've got the book and I'm about halfway through and it feels bulky to where I'm trying to like read it, then I'll like kind of go in just so I need to be able to like see
yeah.
the full page. I'm not
I've
purposefully just cracking them.
no, and I've showed this to my wife, which I love my wife so much. I've actually showed her how to like hold a paperback book. And she's like, "What do you mean you hold it in a certain way? Like you hold it, you open the book, cradle the spine, you can see the book, you know." But she's like, "I can't see the inside of the book." I'm like, "Yeah, you still can. You just need to turn it a certain way." She's like,
Nope,
"No, absolutely
nope.
not."
Well, that too. When I hold it, it's
Mhm.
usually, let's see if I can do this here. So I've usually got it like this,
Yeah.
but like I need to, like
I mean, yeah.
you got to open it. Otherwise your hand gets cramped and it's all weird.
That's fine. Yeah.
You'll still love me even though I crack spines.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Well, thank you for being on. This was a blast, and now we've learned more about you and Peri, the man Opaz.
Yes. No, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll send you Perry's link and you can go check him out. So
Can't wait. So for people who are watching this, where they could find you and where they could find Perimenopause as well.
Yep. So TikTok, I am your Gen X aunt 2. Don't know who the first one is. And then it's peri.man.of.pause. Sorry, it's long. On there. And then Instagram I'm on. Just your Gen X aunt. I have a YouTube page, but I don't really do much with it anymore. I used to do interviews and I would put those up there. So there's probably some old interviews up there, but not really on there a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then I'm also on Magic Wave, the audio erotica app, as like a engineer and writer. So you'll find me on there too.
Awesome. And just tell them where they could find the book again.
Yep. So you can find, a couple ways. You can get the book anywhere fine books are sold. So, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever, online. If you really want to support the author, if that's myself or anyone else, I highly suggest going to, I have my site listed on my TikTok page and my link tree, buying the signed copies from the author, just because it benefits us a lot more. But yeah, I'm on KU as well. So if you have the KU subscription, you can read it there.
All right. Well, whenever you want to come back on and talk about your second book, whenever it's released, or any updates you want to give us, I'm more than happy to have you on again.
Amazing. I would love it. Thank you, Jay. You're awesome.
Thanks.